deleted all your tweets?
Yeah.
Like all your jokes of all time?
know.
Not all of
But
them.
this is
All
me
of
too.
them.
You deleted the.
So I want to talk about it on the show. I want to talk about it on the podcast.
Well, I mean, we're already started.
Oh,
Fuck
that's
it.
right. We're on it.
Should
Okay.
no, fuck all that. Welcome to Wine and Weed, first and
Welcome.
foremost. You know what time it is. Your boy, as usual, a.k.a. That dude, a.k.a. Mandingo Lover, a.k.a.
Do you begin every show like this? What is
Quinta.
this
I start every
person?
show like
Does
this.
he really?
This is Stilo Brillman. It's that dude. Look, I'm a lot of things around the world, Quentin. I have to express these to everyone. Like
That's how the people know him.
the people know me as Scooby Doo's best friend. They know me as is that a third leg? They know me. This
Does
is
he
what
really begin every
the
show?
the people talk about me this way, and I'm like, y'all crazy. Chris, what they call you?
I'm Chris Reiniger, a.k.a. Well, now I can't be Mustache Maven anymore because the mustache is
Oh, you cut the
gone.
mustache, man.
The connoisseur I still got. My a.k.a. game is really weak, Quinta.
I see. AKA.
You give me
yeah.
some a.k.a.s.
AKA 4 eyes, 1 T-shirt. I'm
Okay.
Just going off of what I
Okay,
see
we not
now.
even trying.
Okay. I looked at it.
To me also.
Came up with
I
something.
still do think I am 1 T-shirt. I do feel like we've had
Yeah.
10 episodes and I've used all of my
I
clothing.
don't think she was saying that you wear the same T-shirt every day, but you do.
I do though. I wear like I
Chris
got
has a
like
uniform.
6 outfits.
He
He's a
dressed like a
minimalist.
I'm like
dressed like
Doug.
a cartoon character. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that Instagram I saw? Someone, AKA Britney's.
Brittany's bitch.
3 times.
Somebody wrote Brittany's bitch
3
3 times.
times.
Brittany responded. She was like, I like this person.
John, I saw you reading your phone over there.
Oh,
so you
yeah,
had
yeah.
some AKAs. Don't bullshit me.
Okay, well, all the ones I got are.
John writes
are,
his out now each week.
all
John's
the ones
good
I
at
got are
AKAs.
people who I look like in movies, and they're all very like niche. I'm like, AKA the chef from 50 First Dates. I'm like, I like that. I'm down with that.
Okay.
AKA the one I like, AKA Spider-Man's
I
best
was gonna
friend.
say that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
Yeah.
I had
Brown
one
Peter
in there.
Griffin.
Yeah.
Brown Peter
Big
Griffin.
sexy with the glasses.
Hell yes, I like that one.
That's the one right
Yeah,
there.
that's it.
Yeah.
Big sexy.
But now we have a guest today.
An amazing guest, a beautiful guest, a very strong and intelligent guest, Chris Reiniger.
Thanks, guys.
Such a
AKA
beautiful
strong
black
and
woman.
intelligent.
Chris Reiniger.
A strong black woman, Chris Reiniger.
We got
we have
Quinta
Quinta.
Brunson, ladies
Quinta
and
Brunson.
gentlemen.
So excited for you to be here. I saw you weren't responding to Chris' text messages, so I knew I had to hit you on the line directly, and I was like, Quinta, let's connect on some real shit. I need you here. You're hilarious. You're amazing, and we can have great conversations on this show.
And I'm afraid of podcasts.
Okay.
And I told you both that.
She did say
She
this.
did say that.
But you both were persistent, and that's what got me to come here
It's
today.
key in life.
And you're
Because
my friend,
we thought you were a
so-
great guy. We were like, we wanted to start with friends. We were like, let's start with
Yeah.
some friends. Let's get them on the show. We were like, who's
Some
a friend of
famous
both of
friends.
us?
Yeah.
And you
You know?
famous.
I
You
hope I can
famous
deliver.
now.
When I first met you, or like when I first hit you up, I remember posting your very famous, "Ooh, he got money" video, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, "Who is this girl?
Yeah.
She's this is hilarious. Who is this?" And people were tagging you and everything.
Uh-huh.
The fame wasn't quite there, but I was like, "She is a star." And now to see where you're at now is just incredible,
Thanks.
and
so
it's
much.
amazing. You know, it really
Do you
is.
know
It's
how
fucking dope
Quinta
as
and I
shit.
met, Sterling?
I think, but I don't know.
I coached her improv team.
So
Really?
true.
You remember?
I
And
was
I
just
had that
about to-
same feeling. I was
Yeah.
like, this girl's a star. This
Yeah.
girl's fantastic. And I felt like, and no offense to that improv team, because that improv team's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I did feel like I was giving a set of notes, and then I was giving a set of Quinta notes. Because I felt like I was like, no, this girl's already knows.
Yeah. Who brought us there? Danny Summer. Danny Simmons. No, I love you both separately.
Okay.
Well, not together?
And together.
You're not a
but-
wine and weed fan?
No,
You
I
don't like
mean,
us as a team?
I love. I remember got heat for
It's
saying that
different
Chris
loves.
is a comedic genius. They were like, "You can't say that about Chris." I was like, "That's my friend, and I do."
Why am I not allowed? I didn't know that there's drama about you saying I was a comedic genius.
Because people didn't want to give you that.
Damn, people
Whoa,
gonna give you the credit, fam. AKA not a comedic genius. AKA
AKA
a
not
regular
comedically
guy.
talented at all.
I didn't know this story, so it was like, hey, Chris, I know you're not a comedic genius, but I
Wait,
was like, wait,
well,
what?
I
I
hate to
did
put
think
you-
that though. I thought you were just fantastic, and then we became friends.
Yeah.
And then
It's
Sterling,
true.
did I meet you through Chris?
No. I DM'd you.
You
I think.
did.
Yeah, I hit you separately.
You
It was like,
did.
yo.
Whoa, slid on in.
No,
But you know
no,
what?
I
It was
didn't
the-
shoot my
He
shot.
didn't shoot a shot. It was a very
I'm a
polite.
gentleman.
But it was a polite. I love a good friendship slide. You know, so
Yeah.
a lot of my best industry relationships are friendship DM slides where someone's like, "Yo, I like your work." You
And
should.
she was like, "This dude is clearly gay. We're fine."
Because you were
Doing a sketch,
sketch show
yeah,
at the
working on a
time,
sketch
that's
show, and I
why.
was like, "Yo, she's amazing.
Yeah.
She'd be amazing for this." But I hate to put you on spot, but now you gonna hit us with some AKA since you here.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Quinta Brunson, aka tallest person in the room,
Mm-hmm.
aka Bug Eyes.
Okay.
aka Bug Eye Bitch, which is what I got called on Twitter.
Sounds like a
2 weeks
YouTube
ago.
comment.
Yeah, no, it was a Twitter comment. It was
Yeah.
a Twitter comment.
Who called you that?
Somebody was mad about a tweet I made about saying that I hate kids who think they're cute, and they were like, Quinta Brunson hates children, and then
No,
someone's
I don't like that either.
someone's like, "You bug-eyed bitch." I was like, "Damn!" And they put
Oh,
a picture of a
man.
lemur with big eyes. It
Wow.
was really terrible.
This is why
Yeah.
you deleted all your tweets?
That's not even why. It was way before that I
No.
got the idea in my
I know
head.
why she.
Are you
deleted her
saying you
tweet.
No, you don't even know
deleted
why
your
either.
don't know why.
your Millie Rock on any
I
block?
delete-
Like
we'll get
That's-
we'll get into
That's
it.
pinned.
We'll get into it though.
That is there.
By the way, this tweet was just about me. I should have given more context. I was at a resort. You ever been to a resort with a bunch of? I know you have, with a bunch of rich white children, and they're
Yeah.
all over the place.
Of course.
the
It's
Ondas.
the only resorts I go to.
Was it the Ondas?
Are you kidding me?
I chose that is my experience at the Ondas.
Are you playing right now?
No,
it
no,
was
no.
The Ondas in
That's where
Costa
you-
Rica.
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
this was the Ondas in Hawaii.
I am sick. Why do
The
you?
Ondas in Miami, Hawaii, aka a $22 cocktail.
Ondaj, I need to start flying out some black kids, man. They over here.
Look, but these children would get on my nerves, and I was just like, I like kids who are cute, but I don't like kids who like know they're cute. you
I
know?
agree, though.
Okay, but people got very upset.
You
and,
do
know,
write that on Twitter.
No,
That's
they didn't
your
like that.
controversial tweet?
That's
If that's
the
what
worst
puts
I
you
can
over
do.
the head.
Is that you don't
the worst
like
I can-
cocky kids?
You know what? When I started to dive back into the behind the scenes shit and working with like a lot of different people and different companies, and I was
Yeah.
like, yo, Sterling, you know your sense of humor, but everyone does it.
Right, and honestly, I went to sleep. Like, I tweeted it. People fucking loved the tweet. Then I
Yeah.
go to sleep, and it was a problem. Somebody got a hold of it, and they said, "This is wrong. You hate children with confidence." And then, no, I swear to God, this is really what it said. And so then, I just see people coming at it, and I'm like, y'all, come on. But there's no room for me to be
People
like,
are so excited to be outraged.
right.
They're
and
so
can't
excited.
wait.
really excited
And the
to be
way
upset.
I crush everyone in their outrage is
Yeah.
I write them back, but Jesus loves you. And I do too. And every time that person is like, oh my God, you wrote me back.
Well,
I
yeah,
can't
people
believe
do
you
that
wrote
a
me back.
lot.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, you didn't even, you're not
Yeah.
even mad for
People do
real.
that a
Like,
lot.
why are we doing this?
I didn't even know it was something to be mad at. Like when I woke up and saw that people were mad at it, I had to find what they
I
were upset
still
about.
don't know why people are
was-
mad.
Because I'm saying it out loud in this room, and then like they just didn't like the follow up. It just wasn't the platform for it. And I actually responded to someone's tweet. And I'm like,
Instagram.
you know what? I was like, it was a joke. Sorry. I was like, I forgot this is Twitter. And the person was like, well, you should have read the room. And I was like, you know what? You're fucking right. I should have read the room of
I
the
should have
internet.
read,
No.
all the people on the
the
internet room.
website.
I'm
but-
not saying that you're wrong for deleting your tweets. I am saying that we can't live in a world where we allow fear to take over.
For sure.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying that if you tweet some shit, you got to be man or woman enough to step forward and say, you know what? I should have read the room. I should have did this. That was wrong. Cool. But also, we have to understand that people want to be outraged, and you can't allow them to really dictate who you are.
Right, true. But before that even happened, I already wanted to not be on the website anymore. And nothing had happened or anything. I just was like done with communicating with people in that way.
Through Twitter?
Yeah,
You kill it on Twitter so much.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's like Michael Jordan getting out of the game, you
Yeah,
know?
no, I
Like,
swear to
you
God, I
going
look
over
at-
to baseball,
You
you
just
gotta
tweet
do.
shit sometimes. You be like, good day. And motherfuckers be like, oh, retweet that
Oh my
shit.
God,
I'm like,
Quinta
Quinta's
gets
killing
me.
You know what? It is a good ass day. Let's go, niggas.
Quinta, I didn't even realize it was a good day until you tweeted that.
But don't you think you should be able to like grow from platforms when you're like bored with them and stuff? And I just want and honestly, deleting the tweets was more of a thing of like, it felt like, I don't know how to explain to you, but when I did it, and I was trying to not delete all of them at first, I wanted to save things like the Millie Rock tweet and but then it became too hard, and I was like, you know what? Wipe that shit. As soon as I did it, you guys, I felt this freedom that
Free.
I cannot explain from like
You were soaring.
the past, from what I thought I had to be and say, and how I thought I had to communicate with people. It got me very excited to like actually sit down and write things again, write entire scripts again, and to communicate with people in a different way. But I still love Twitter. I'm still on it looking at stuff, but I just don't want to communicate artistically
That's
way
funny.
anymore.
I feel like I had a reverse where I was still enjoying creating for Twitter, but I wasn't enjoying like it was on my phone and it became like obsessive, and it was
Yeah.
like, hey, let me delete this from my phone,
Yeah.
and I think it'll help my mental health, and it totally
And it
did. And it was that
yeah.
same feeling of
That
freedom.
freedom.
See,
Yeah.
I did my thing on Twitter early on in the days, kids, and then I kind of like fell off of it for like a strong year and a half, and then I was like, you know what, I should get back on Twitter. There is a presence there, and it's been like a slow climb for me. I've been like, oh, okay, and people didn't care again, but when I deleted my tweets, I only tried. I went on this app or this like whatever, and I only wanted to tweet from delete a certain like amount of tweets. I was like, okay, I was mature around 2015. Before that, I was on some bullshit.
I feel you.
Let me delete everything before that. But I accidentally deleted all my tweets, and I was like, I
yeah.
don't give a fuck.
You don't get it's. That's how I felt. Where I was like,
Yeah.
all of them deleted, and I was just like, oh, well, that's just the way it is.
Time for some new content.
No, but seriously though, you know.
Yeah, a little
like,
bit.
It felt very freeing.
What's interesting to me, like when you said you left and you came back, what's interesting to me after, like, I just left YouTube for like 8 months, and then
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, let me release some stuff. It's interesting how hurt you are with numbers when you leave for a
And then
long
you
time.
come back.
And it's
Yeah.
like in the algorithm to, same with
Yeah.
Instagram, to like addict you. Like I took like 6 months off from doing shit on Instagram, and they set it up so that consistency is rewarded and unconsistently is
That
punished. And I'm like, this
definitely-
is dangerous.
That definitely happened to me with Instagram, but I don't care as much about Instagram. I don't care. You know what? I don't want to care about any of them.
Right.
I want to keep just.
Yeah.
Care
Well,
about
We don't
the work
want to
I'm
care
in.
about any of them, but sometimes
They
said-
it'll get you.
And not
Yeah.
to transition, but they said they're testing out, Kanye's whole thing. He was like, well, I think we should take away Instagram followers. And da-da-da. They claim they're testing that out
I saw
right
that
now.
this morning. Yeah, I saw that this morning.
Not hiding likes.
Hiding likes
I saw
and
that
followers.
this morning. Yeah.
And I was like, what is going to happen when we have to judge these Instagram chicks just on our real opinions and not all the likes? Like, when I look at your page, I'm like, is she pretty? I don't have likes to tell me she's pretty. But also, just being real,
Is
it's like,
Naomi Campbell good looking? I can't tell.
I can't
There's
tell.
no likes. But
we
go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, intro of the show. We also got to talk about what wine and weed we're smoking today. But
Yeah.
we can finish. What
Well,
were you
I
gonna
was
say?
just going to say that there has historically always been some form of communal validation and choice about what's good and what's not. And that's not going to change. Like, if, say, Instagram wipes all that stuff and Twitter, blah, 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 some form,
We'll figure it out.
We will inherently create our own demise
Way to
and figure
judge.
it out again.
Yeah.
And that's just what we do as the human race. So we'll find another way to judge things. But
it would just be somebody fucking launching a platform and be like, hey, I
yeah.
don't know what bullshit they on, but we
Right.
still counting followers over here.
But
What
before,
are your guys'
before
thoughts on-
internet, it was paparazzi. It was like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was the magazines, and it was and before that, it was just plain old Hollywood. In the beginning,
And it's
it was like,
always
you're gonna
still
care about
box
this
office
person.
numbers.
Yeah.
It's like, what are
Yeah.
those numbers? I hate to see when somebody works so hard on a movie or a video or anything, and then somehow doesn't get the numbers, and now it's oh, I guess I failed. And it's like, no, you made a movie.
Which to me was an important part too about deleting tweets and stuff, is that I felt like I was being held to things I had done that were successful in the past. That honestly took no work or effort from me as far as tweets and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I kind of want to free myself of the idea that these things mean anything to me. Like if I wipe my Twitter and wipe my Instagram, I'm still capable of being,
No, talk that real shit.
like that.
Talk that
Quinta.
shit and say, hey, you know what? I was like, am I an internet star? No, I'm bigger than that. So let me go ahead and get, like, you know what? If y'all basing this on the past and this bullshit I put together, I'm creating magic now. I fucks with you, Quinta.
I feel like Sterling is my translator. You know that Key and Peele sketch with Jordan's
yeah,
like
it's an angry
translator? Yeah, I
translator.
really feel like
No,
he's my
I get
translator
it though.
right now, yeah.
I get.
But
I
you're
even-
such a preacher of at BuzzFeed. There was this like idea of like the internet's down here, and then you can get TV, and I know you have subscribed to this idea in the past, and then you can get to movies,
right?
And I remember that like our like CEO there wanted to break that idea of like just because you're doing internet doesn't mean it's not just as legitimate as doing a television show or doing movies, because you're actually more people are seeing this,
right?
You know, so don't look at yourself like, oh, I'm not doing enough. And I felt like you were like I was like, okay, sure, I get why you're saying that, boss. But then when you were like, no, I really believe that, and I've always thought you're somebody who has the talent to do all those things. Yeah, I was like, huh. So Sterling being your anger translator, I was like, is that Quinta?
Well,
or
I still believe
what does Quinta believe now?
No, I still believe all those things. I'm still such a huge. I want people to use the internet to create whatever. I want people to fucking blow up off of Twitter. I want people to blow up off of Instagram, blow up off of YouTube, whatever by any means that they need to blow up. But I think for where I am now, for Quinta personally, I'm not trying to give people advice. I'm just talking about where I am.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to give people advice.
No, I said where you are.
Where
you speaking from where you are.
Where
That's all you can do.
I just need to kind of eliminate the powers that be. It's too many powers that be.
And we view those things differently. And I'm not against the internet at all.
Yeah.
But it's when I look at the actual percentage of people who have started from the internet and actually made it into movies or television, and they actually now have longevity or they have legitimate careers, it's a very small percentage. And it's not because you're not getting the opportunities because you're on the internet. It's just more that you can kind of create things like this on the internet, and everyone isn't as talented. Like you have it's in music, the same way in music. You can look at it for music, and you can say, oh, we had these artists that were getting signed back in the day because they were truly the best singers, the best rappers in the community. But then when the internet came out, musicians were like, oh, I can go create my own song. I can have my own number one. And then you end up having people who don't have as long of careers that can have a one-hit wonder. They come in really quick and bounce in. But if we still have artist development and all these different things, you may be seeing the same name. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, it's like I'm someone that still, I still subscribe to the internet, and I still look at everything on the internet, and every once in a while I will see somebody, I'm like, that person's a star. Fuck the internet. That person's just a star. That person can do movies. And that's why I saw when I saw you. I was like, yo, she's a star, period.
Yeah.
And, but a lot of times I am on the internet, and I'm like, kids, they have phones.
It's also that constant drive. It's also that constant drive for content that can like take somebody who maybe had the potential. Like if Donald Glover existed 6 years later with Derek Comedy, they might have been like, how can we engineer skits to get hits?
How do we find
instead of just making something really funny?
Yeah.
And then he wastes all of what he has because you get trapped in that cycle. So I totally understand wanting to go, well, this isn't my like benchmark anymore. This isn't.
Because how are we?
I'm going to move into a different space.
Hope, I mean, but
hopefully, come on, fam, talk that shit on this show, okay? Because I'm so proud of you.
We got
talking for you.
We got rosé and sativa today.
We have Whispering Angel. We back on this
wine
on
and
this thought
wine.
Drink.
Rosé.
Yeah, this Whispering Angel is #1 thought drink in America right now. I drink it all the time.
That's what it's called, Whispering Angel.
Yeah. if that ain't it. Whispering Angel.
That's the name
we got Whispering Angel, and on the other side, our weed is Durban Poison.
Yeah.
Whispering Angel and Durban Poison.
It should be an interesting mix. John Ross, we're happy to have you back, man.
Yeah, I'm good. Happy to
420,
be here.
you didn't show up.
Man.
You were like, fuck that.
I was at court.
You were at court? How'd that go?
They dismissed my case.
You got that guy in prison?
No, it was good. It's all good.
If y'all did not see, it was Easter yesterday. Happy Easter if you celebrate Easter. Happy Resurrection Day if you're a Christian and all that good stuff.
The day that the bunny rose.
Yes, the bunny rose
Zombie
after the
bunny.
third day.
Jesus cooked eggs for everybody.
That is true. Hard-boiled eggs.
Favorite.
Yeah.
But there was a video I came across this morning with this Easter bunny going to town on somebody. Not sexually. I know that sounded very sexual. Actually.
It's a different
They
video.
was beating somebody ass.
What is this video? Can I have some rosé, please?
Of
also?
course.
Thank you.
Are you going to participate in the marijuana with us today? You don't have to.
I won't, and I don't want to deviate from what Sterling's about to pull up, but I was kind of sharing before that I was a avid weed smoker for years. Started at the young tender age of 18.
Okay.
And I don't know if Sterling knows about this, but in the hood, doing any types of drugs is like scary because you're afraid you're going to turn to the crackhead next door.
Yeah.
So I waited till late to start smoking weed. And like 18 was my first start, and then college I really got into it.
I waited till I was 29.
Right. See,
I was afraid
because you don't want to
everything.
be the crackhead next door, so it keeps you
can't
away
be the
from drugs
crackhead.
forever. Drugs are really some suburban shit because like there's no crackhead.
We got
next door.
drug addicts in suburban
But they're
communities.
so cool. They're like
No, they're
so-
like Oxycontin
But they're-
kids.
but
Yeah,
they're
that's
still
different.
functioning.
Sitting
They're
on the ranch.
functioning.
The money helps them function.
They
I
mama,
guess so.
they grandma
Yeah.
didn't kick them out the house and shit.
Right.
They
Right,
still
right, right.
live
If you're in the
there.
hood, you become a crackhead. That's it. No
And
one.
we all know you.
You're not going to a sober house. You're not going. You're gonna like just be a crackhead.
I had a crackhead that lived right behind me,
I
right?
had a crackhead that lived next door.
And he, throughout it all,
The
I've said-
crackhead next door.
I've said this before, throughout it all, that nigga had integrity.
They do though.
And-
The woman next door to me growing up, she turned into a crackhead. As in, this was a woman who was a mother of,
Damn.
and then she turned into one. And that was always my thing of what I never wanted to be. Like, and to me, it was like, well, weed is going to make me become a crackhead. You know what I mean? But started at 18, real quick. Then I really picked it up in college. And in college is when But now I've developed this anxiety and paranoia after smoking weed. So now I don't partake anymore.
We were
me,
just
you
talking to
realize
MGK
that.
about this on Saturday. He was saying that
He
it was
did.
like first time he got that, and he was like, I hope this doesn't happen because I feel like this happens.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, that's like a thing that happens to
I
people.
have the
They
thing.
hit one day and then they're like, can't do it anymore.
It sucks.
yeah, I've heard of people being like, I locked myself in a room because I knew I was
Yeah.
so paranoid. I'm like, really?
Mine's not that bad. I'll just sit here and be,
Anxious?
it's that kind of thing. If you start thinking everyone hates you and you get anxious and you start making up shit in your mind to make, not trust the people around. It's terrible.
See, I do that a little bit when I smoke, but I only do
Yeah.
it if I smoke at home
Yeah.
too much, and then I got somewhere to go.
Oh.
And then I don't think anyone hates me. I just think, damn, they know I'm high. Damn,
See, that's not this.
that person know I'm high.
This would be me sitting here going, Sterling actually thinks this about me. Chris actually thinks this about me. John just met me, but he knows that I'm the worst. And in third grade, I stole a pencil. He knows.
I'm glad you figured that out.
And it's real terrible. It's like, it's really not a good feeling. And it
Sounds horrible.
It took a year to realize
So
that.
hit
it
the
was weed.
joint. I'm joking.
It's not fun. It makes you think of the worst of the people you love the most.
I'm a big
It's
fan
really
of like
sad.
it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Not everybody needs to smoke weed. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm still a huge advocate of it. I want everybody else to smoke.
Hey, if it makes you feel, do it if it feels
I
good.
keep weed in
You
my
know what I
house
mean?
for everybody, and I do. I keep.
That's really
awesome.
sweet.
We make sure we have weed for everyone because it's not about me.
You not gonna play around with the Easter Bunny? We should. Can we
Are
put
you
this
watching?
clip somehow on?
Explain what happens for those people
So
who are listening.
there's a young lady on the street
Yeah.
that I guess is being attacked by a man.
Yeah.
And the Easter Bunny said, "I don't play that shit.
Yeah.
a guy dressed
If
as
y'all
the
gonna
Easter
get rid
Bunny.
of Jesus, I'ma represent what Jesus.
Don't let the pink eggs and shit confuse you, my
Yeah.
G. I'll
I
fuck
do
you
this.
up, niggas. What's
I do
up?
this.
This.
And this was not his first time fighting in that costume, because his helmet did not come off at all, which means this nigga knows. Oh yeah, he was like,
Wait, he's like this.
oh no, the Easter
He's
Bunny not
squaring
playing
up.
no
Yeah.
game.
It's in front of a bar, and there seems to be a fight, and a guy dressed as the Easter Bunny jumps in, and you think it's a regular fight video, and then the Easter Bunny's in it, and then the Easter Bunny starts throwing hands. He really starts going after that guy.
That's awesome.
Does he
Happy
win?
Easter.
I mean,
Happy
what you
Easter.
mean, fam? It's Easter. Of course he won.
Yeah, definitely. Even if he lost, he won.
This is the same bunny that rose from the dead. You don't think he can fight people? No, but it's been a lot of I don't want to say crazy shit going on in the world, but it's always crazy shit going on in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, every week what we do, we hope to basically to not have craziness to talk about, but we live in a world where you're gonna have craziness to talk about. So it's just about, let's start with somewhere lighter.
I think it's important for everybody to talk about these things together. You know, when
is very important.
especially when we disagree or
Yeah.
when there's more than one perspective on things.
We'll start with something very light, guys. I don't know if you guys saw this ancestry.com ad.
That's our light. Yeah,
That's our light.
That's our light.
That
Is our light. Welcome to Wine and Weed. That's our light. There's a commercial for Ancestry.com that kind of went viral.
That it romanticizes what? Romanticizes slavery. And there is white gentleman, I would guess in the late 1700s, maybe early 1800s. He tells a black, what appears to be a slave. It appears to be a slave. Hey, there's a place we can go up north, and we can basically be in love if we go up north together.
And then he sung a whole new world. No, but basically though, it's the vibe that they put on
that
this.
is the vibe.
My question is why? Why? No, but like, what is the marketing perspective? Does that make white people want? Does that make black people want? What's the angle? What was the pitch?
What is they were like, if you want to know why you're biracial.
But they will tell you a story. It's not like Ancestry.com comes with a story.
It was more, to me, it was more cheap in the way that, like, we've got a movie for you. Do you love rom-coms? Then we've got do you love Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen He's Just
slavery?
Not That Into You? We've got a movie for you. Wasn't that the way they sold it? Like
and it ended
rom-com?
at you.
At you.
Right. It did feel like a Hallmark movie about slavery.
And what really bothered me was she didn't even have that many lines. Like, at least if you're going to do this.
Let her be the
let her be the lead.
Also, like, you know.
Like, you fucked up.
Let her really showboat the thing. But wait.
I don't know why it's just hitting me that someone has a leaf blower going on in the background. Yeah, should we just cut it?
Minute. Okay.
But back to Ancestry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that it was so annoying because I think a stronger position would be like leave a choose your own adventure kind of thing with like the black lady, and it's like, do I fuck around with bull or
go
no?
down south or go
like,
up north?
Like, what did your ancestor choose? Like, the thought to do that was so, and I think there's a marketing issue in America right now where they keep trying to find unique ways to market to the point where of detriment to their own product.
But every unique way they choose to market, you don't feel like they're asking us at all what we want, and that's the problem, because you're like I get why you went this way. I also get there were no black people in the room. And this is the problem we continue to fucking...
Is there... Yeah.
There was no black person in that room like, nigga, you got it.
Why did they think that would move people? Just stick to your little, like, why do you need to make a fantasy world? It just was just stupid.
Wait, what? Why?
Fucking, it's just corny.
It is. It feels like...
it was beyond the product they were selling.
It really was.
Stupid.
I knew Wrigley was
I
outside.
also still...
I knew fucking Wrigley was outside.
Oh, the baby.
She was sunbathing. She loves to sunbathe. Hey, daddy's girl.
You got locked out.
Hey, come here.
But you know what? The person who they used is this woman named Abigail Williams. That's who they were like, this is... But she was like a part of the Salem witch trials.
Wait.
Which is way more interesting.
This is a real story?
They put in Abigail Williams' name at the end. It was like, search the story of Abigail Williams.
Search the
Wait,
story?
did you?
They manufactured a story for us? Not that it's fake, but I'm just saying, like...
That's not even the interesting part about that woman who they claim that was.
Oh,
she was a part of the Salem witch trials. Give me that.
She fucked one white dude and they were like, we gotta put this in the story.
Wait.
This is the story.
You guys, what if this is just a piece of the advertising and it slowly turns into...
No, please don't make it a franchise.
Crazy.
Please stop. Don't
what
turn
if
it
this
into
is
a
just
sequel.
a franchise?
Not a movie.
Don't do a
What
sequel.
if it turns out to be the most brilliant piece
I
of
swear to God.
advertising?
Please don't.
This year Academy Award nominees. In the story of Abigail Williams.
By Ancestry.com commercials. Director Brad Taylor, who also did the Colgate Smile commercial. Come on up, Brad.
This is Brad's second Oscar.
Just fucked up on cocaine right now. I want to say thank you.
I was never supposed to be here.
I'm going to say thank you to Where's the Beef Lady, who really gave me my inspiration for this.
Listen, I grew up watching commercials, and I thought...
I could do that.
Imagine you being...
me.
But I'm going to fuck the whole thing
Imagine
up.
being the Clint Eastwood of commercials.
Yeah. Actually, no.
There probably is a guy.
Yeah.
There probably is a guy.
Might be the guy who did this Ancestry.com.
The guy who made the Old Spice commercials? That guy's...
Those are,
sometimes
that's good.
Sometimes
those are good.
Sometimes
What's
I
Yeah, what's up, dude?
Those are comedic geniuses, but I don't know if they're great filmmakers.
But you know what I realized when I became like
comedic geniuses?
Maybe when I hit the age of like 9, I started realizing no more commercials, just did regular advertisement. Everyone became funny.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, we gotta become funny.
And now they're crazy.
Yeah. You know, I don't know if you know this, but I don't know if you guys know Brandon Wardell. He's a comedian, but he pointed out that commercials now are all like offbeat Tim and Eric episodes.
Yeah,
like
they are.
Yeah.
So they're just always like.
It's like a guy marrying a burger, and then the rain, and then it's skittling, and there being a goat.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
They're like 2 years behind comedically.
Exactly.
And they pull up that. But you know what's crazy? I was about to say about the never mind, I forget. Don't
No.
That's by the way, that's part
She did
of
not
this
smoke.
show.
Everyone, she did not smoke.
It's the context.
I wish you smoked because Sterling was in the middle of a very important story on the first episode and then completely could not remember what he
I
was
forgot at least 3
talking
times about
Really?
different episodes. I'm like, yo, what was I talking about again? But
part
I
of the
always
show.
figure it out. But to go to a different story, more states will dump Columbus Day in favor of indigenous people.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Way
Good
to
job,
figure it
everyone.
out.
More
Good
states.
job.
Is there
Taking up
one
time.
state that's
One
passionately
more
Columbus?
This happened
They're
during
like, no.
Ohio.
this happened during Donald Trump. Make America
That
great
is,
again,
that
guys.
is a big deal. That's a
That's
big
a
deal
huge-
that this happened during Donald Trump's reign.
That is.
And Donald Trump reign. Just
He
won't
doesn't know
let
what's
up,
happening
guys.
though. He has no idea what's going
Yeah,
down.
he probably doesn't.
He's like, wait, what? They passed
I
what bill?
would not put it past him to suddenly become the biggest Christopher Columbus fan and now mark it on all the outrage
They're
of
like,
Columbus.
Yes. They're like, Donald, you didn't know. No, I was watching this really enticing Ancestry.com commercial. I didn't know. I was watching it on a loop. What happened?
I love history. I'm a
I'm
history
a
guy.
history
And
man.
Columbus is so important.
We've
We
talked
cannot,
about
that's what he does. He stokes like a stupid cultural thing that everybody fights about so he can go like do something terrible over here. It's part of
Yeah,
the strategy.
It is.
We talked about this though. Like Columbus didn't do shit.
He really did.
He got a whole ass day. They gave him a
Yeah.
whole ass day. It was like Columbus.
Listen.
We gotta give you
Are
guys.
you about to
get the,
defend
Listen.
Christopher Columbus right now?
Hey guys, it's Rod.
Rod
the
here.
American
He has a
here.
character named Rod, which is he's interesting.
Nobody had sailed the ocean blue over. Nobody found here before. It was a land full of what we know as America today.
In all
was not
seriousness,
there.
Chris did.
I support America.
Chris found out in our second episode that Christopher Columbus did not discover America. Chris was
No,
like,
no,
"What?"
I used the phrase "discover America," and he went, but he didn't discover America.
And Chris was like, "Well, who did?"
and my American educated mind was blown. And then I was like, of course, there is no discovering what was already there.
Let's talk about the American education system
It's
for
amazing.
white people, which is the most
Propaganda.
efficient form of white supremacy.
I
at
pledge
play.
allegiance
Look,
to the flag
Y'all
of
just-
the United States of America. Every morning, baby. I think it's good for kids.
morning, baby.
you guys just get like a really cute, comfy version of American history,
100.
you know,
You do.
and it's real cute.
100%.
And so sometimes I tell people this is why I
100%.
don't get mad at white people for not knowing things because
I say that all the
we're in
time.
black homes.
Yeah.
Our black families like tell us like all the things against us, but I don't expect you in your white school.
Why would
To
you?
get, why would you?
Why
White
would
supremacy
you?
is
Oh,
not-
like
it,
there's like
works
it's
perfectly
like
for the white.
America's a sad story.
Yeah.
and you don't want to tell kids a sad story.
That's it.
It's a really
No,
sad
for
story.
real.
Tell them like it worked out, and like
Yeah.
guess what happened? Freedom, eventually.
Real shit.
But I feel like it was like I remember chapter 4 was slave ships. I remember that chapter because it
How
was
long
one
did you
chapter.
stay on that chapter?
It was one chapter. It's
It was 2
20,
days. 2
yeah,
days.
no,
So-
that I'm kind of being serious. It's like a 22 chapter book, and I remember that chapter, and I remember being like, wait. Do we realize how crazy this is? I mean, I think I had a teacher who was also like, do we realize how crazy this is? And
Yeah.
spent more time. But I remember in the book itself, it was one chapter, and you could just kind of skip over it.
So
and then there's like
yeah.
a few key black people that you should know, right?
They
But
teach you about George
otherwise-
Washington Carver and shit. but
George Washington
the thing
Carver.
about like so for
Frederick
us
Douglass.
in black homes and for me in black schooling, my first I watched Amistad in first grade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I
my
don't even
teacher
know
said.
You're late.
My teacher said, "I don't care, y'all little niggas gonna watch Amistad to know." And
Yeah.
we're like, "We just want to watch Bobby's World." They were like, "No, y'all gonna watch Amistad to
I
know."
watched Roots so many times.
So many times.
So
It's
many
so
times.
Wow.
And so
I don't even know what Amistad is.
No, you're joking.
Chris.
Are you serious?
Why don't I know what
Oh,
that
wait,
is?
but this comes
Am I, John? How familiar are you with Amistad?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard it.
But you know what it is.
Steven Spielberg, right?
Yeah.
And look,
I'm happy
my
that
man
you know
Steven
now I'm
was
giving
like
listeners
Produced
background.
by Steven Spielberg and Debbie Allen, fam. If that ain't
No
the
way.
dope, swear to God, that ain't the dopest black shit right there. Debbie
I
Allen
wish
and
that
Steven.
Steven Spielberg would have just like got it together and married a black woman. That's my.
I mean, he has a black son.
What?
Yeah, Steven Spielberg.
Does
He adopted a black son.
Oh, that don't
different.
count. Oh,
Yeah,
fam. I thought you were saying
That
he
just made
was.
me dislike him
I
now.
thought you were saying he was in the song.
I know. I was gonna
I
say.
said,
But,
okay.
but who though? Like I was gonna say, who is?
Where's she at?
No,
I guess
I
it
wish
is
because he was in the mix for a minute. Like Color Purple was huge, and
got
you
you.
know, like Universal was kind of like,
that.
we not fucking with what you trying to do. And he was like, it's this whole market of black people. It's a little evil and a little really amazing of him because it helped push us into the forefront.
Yeah.
Our stories into the forefront.
I mean, no, it's crazy even when I talk about like how strong black cinema was during the 90s,
Yeah.
the 80s and 90s,
Yeah.
where like we had our real films that you had to watch. As probably a
Yeah.
kid growing up, you like, I know these films.
Yep.
And right now we don't have that really. We're
I
getting
don't
some
know if
again.
that's true.
We're
I don't-
getting some again. We're getting
I think that culture is being incorporated
No.
into main culture more.
no. We're
Like people who as a kid, like my kid.
You gotta think about.
I may have not known that movie when I was a kid,
No, let me tell you why.
but today's movies, people might.
let me tell you why. No, I believe you're wrong at least because during the 80s and 90s, like we had real pro-black films that were done by us, like films that you had to know. Versus now, they're films done by studios, but they're not proper represent. We represented ourselves
There are more
So-
Ancestry.com commercials.
now. Yeah, but you got to think about even also like the reason we love Black Panther so much was because it was one of our first times on a big level
For
being
us, by
represented.
us.
Yeah, for us by us and being represented in the right capacity, the right way on screen. Other than that, you got to think about our films that get nominated. We're either playing slaves or we're playing something that's demeaning to us that we like. We know, nigga. You ain't got to remind us that we was a nigga. We get it. We get that once we were quote unquote inferior in America in your eyes. We get that. We don't need to go back there every time. We have news stories.
But okay, are we gonna go there in this show?
Dive into
I knew this
it.
is how it's
Dive
gonna
in.
get canceled. I knew this is how
You'll never get canceled. You're great.
I get canceled every month, but I
Yeah,
come
but
back.
you get
I rise
renewed.
like a phoenix, like Jesus on Easter.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't like. Sometimes also black filmmakers make those films too, and that to me, a young Quinta, I feel the same way you feel. I want to see more of the news stories. Anytime I do, it's so refreshing. But for instance, like, and I wonder how you feel about this. Like, Ava DuVernay right now is doing Central Park 5, and she did 13th, and you know, like, it's hard. It's a hard thing to say. It's not that I don't care to know about the past. I know about the past, but I want to see now more than I want to see the past story, because it's like,
No, that's what I'm saying.
that's what you're saying. Like,
I'm
and
saying
it's like
that.
how, yeah, we're saying the same thing, but I feel like I just feel bad thinking about that. Sometimes black filmmakers do it too.
No, well, it's not that. I'm not saying that's true, but also, it's still the white dollar. So as much as it's like, again, I go back to music because I used to work in music. I used to A&R. So like, as much as you can say, oh, I don't dance to this, quote unquote, excuse my French, coonery. I don't dance to this certain type of music, and you're like, well, black people making it too.
Yeah.
It's like, it's still the label choosing to put this out. They feel as though this is something that they want to see. You know what I'm saying? So it's still sometimes the studio saying, well, this is the story we want to hear.
Yeah.
There are black filmmakers willing and ready to make the new stories that have great ideas.
Yeah.
But the studio is still saying, well,
But
we're
we want
not
to see
quite
that.
finished.
We're on the
here
same
yet.
page. Yeah.
We want to know what
You
the
guys are on the
slavery
same
thing.
Yeah.
Is there more? And
Yeah.
we're
Dig
like,
something out. Was there a story of maybe Abigail Williams? She's like, why did they?
nominated again this year.
Oh, last year on Netflix, I watched. I think no, it wasn't. It was the Match.com movie. It was a romantic comedy produced by. No, I'm so sorry. It was produced by Christian Mingle. It was a
I heard about
feature
that. I
film
heard about
produced
that.
by Christian Mingle.
The Match, I was confused by Christian Mingle.
So I'm so sorry, and it's a great movie.
What was the name?
Was it
It's
good
not
for
a
you?
great. It's not a great movie.
What's
I
the
mean, it's like a
movie?
Hallmark movie. But it's
The movie's actually called Christian Mingle.
no.
The movie you
It's
said
on
you saw.
Netflix, you said?
It's
Christianity is something else, and you know, I respect the need for faith, and I respect the belief in God.
I'm a Christian, but I feel like I'm probably a modern or progressive Christian. Like I don't
Okay.
I don't choose to like how people growing up in the black church. Are we going here?
Are we going here? Do we have time to go?
We don't even have time for this.
I'm kind of interested.
Growing up in the black church.
Because usually it's usually it's Christian, non-Christian, but it's interesting to have a third
non-Christian.
non-Christian. And also he also relates it back to
But growing up in the black church, I feel like a lot of times they would weaponize the Bible, obviously,
Yeah.
and they would try to make you believe
Yeah.
that it's this way or you die,
Die.
and you like
Fear
yo,
mongering.
and you
like,
go to hell.
like chill out,
Straight
fam.
up fucking hell, bitch.
Like,
And hell.
like, and
You
then-
heard about hell?
burn.
Pretty bad.
and
Like
then-
you're not just gonna die and be gone. Like you burn forever.
now you burn forever, fam.
Very cunty.
Have you
Very
ever
drag
just been
race.
cooking
Yeah.
and it lit your hand up and be like, damn, that hurt?
That hurt. I want to hurt like
Nigga,
that
forever?
Forever.
But yeah, weaponized the Bible, and I grew up in fear, and I grew up in like this, and this
Yeah.
is the way. And then I think when you grow up and you start to be able to interpret things yourself and like
Yeah.
really read things, like you realize that like God is also, and this is me from my perspective as
Mhm.
being a Christian, like. God is understanding, and like,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of different things that the Bible tries, or not the Bible, that people would weaponize the Bible and try to make you feel like that. No, God is not understanding; He's only understanding to His way, and you
Yeah.
feel like, yo, chill out, fam. Like,
Yeah.
I got my own relationship with God, and my God is understanding.
I feel that that's beautiful because to me, what you have is spirituality, which operates from a different place
Mhm.
of religious.
Mhm.
Okay, but religion for the black family in general, not even just Christianity, but all the different things you can throw in there.
Mhm.
Islam. I was raised Jehovah's Witness, which is
Mhm.
a branch of Christianity.
Mhm.
But even if you throw Buddhism in a mix, it's what is your relationship to, what are you expecting out of your God? Are you expecting to be brought out of poverty? Are you expecting to be brought out of your issues? Because spirituality is about a relationship with something higher than you.
Mm-hmm.
Religion is about a set of practices to hopefully relieve you from your inadvertent damnation because you're not perfect. You know what I mean? And that's what they push a lot of the times in religion. Now that I think affects the black, because you've been fortunate enough to grow out of being a black kid from the hood, so to speak. And I can say that because I'm in the same position.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not blind to what religion still does for people who are less fortunate, what it promises for them,
Mm-hmm.
what pastors promise to them. Even the simple thing of like, believe in this and you won't go to hell, or believe in this and you'll be safe, is fucked up. It's a fucked up rhetoric that is like, it doesn't help promote building community within those environments. You know what I'm saying? And so a perfect example is like, oh no.
Okay.
A perfect example is like homophobia in the black community starts from the Bible. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's where it starts from.
Yeah.
Don't you know? Don't pastors still? My uncle passed away, and
My
my
mom-
uncle's gay, and his church, the pastor who did his service, refused to talk about the fact that he was gay. Refused to his partner, who had been with him for 40 years, as a friend and a roommate.
Mm-hmm.
Look, my uncle was an amazing person, and that was just like, he's gay.
Like-
Like he's gay.
People be
I don't
gay.
want to be my own mean, but he is, and he refused to, because the homophobia is so deep that they couldn't get past it. And it made me sad for the people who weren't me in the room, who have been in Philly their whole life. And it's like, that's right, that was just his roommate, and we won't acknowledge that real version of love that exists because the Bible says not to.
Yeah, my mom.
You know what I
So my
mean?
mom and my dad both pastors.
So
Pastors.
Yeah. So for me, like, I had a conversation with my mom recently where I was like, I know what the Bible says. I know what I was taught growing up, but I've lived. And the more I'm around people and I connect with people and I have conversations and not just I connect with the people spiritually and with energy and whatever. Like my brother gay. Like my little brother gay. So like for me it was like Ma, I know what was taught to me. Do you honestly still believe like I got little cousins that's like 5 and I'm like that nigga gay. And that's what's up. And that's his fucking business.
Yeah, and that's
bad. And that's not even speaking sexually. He's 5, he's gay. That boy gay. And he grow up and he becomes a 23-year-old man. He like, yep, knew it. And it was like, yep, that's cool. Yeah. And my parents and my aunties and whoever, down to the black list, your family,
right, all the people.
You like they're like, oh, they refuse to talk about it. They're like, that boy love weed, that boy love off, and you're like, what the fuck does that mean? like, boy, that boy love next door, that boy love off. You mean gay? Because that person lives a different life. So I'm like, Ma, I know what it says, my God says, but I don't think these people are making choices, fam. I understand what it's saying, like, oh, if you lay with another man, that man is not choosing. I don't think there's a black man out here that's like, I'm not experiencing enough oppression with being black, nigga. Let's throw gay on top.
But
I think the Bible has good intentions. I don't know how we
got here.
I think the Bible has good intentions, but I think when you get deep into the Bible, I think it's a book that was made to control people.
You want to know what the Bible is?
What is it?
The Bible was Harry Potter version 1. Where
it's a classic.
First of all, you're not going to disrespect the Bible like that, fam, because the Bible is still #1 bestseller today. So it's still Harry Potter version 1. The Bible is the Bible version 1.
Okay, I get it.
Also, Bible's a great story.
The Bible is the GOAT.
The
Bible is the GOAT.
Bible is a great piece of literature.
How would the Bible not be the GOAT?
I'm saying if God was on Twitter, he would be saying the same fuck shit that J.K. Rowling says with Harry Potter, where she's like, oh, no. Opal was gay.
No, you didn't hit God with that.
You didn't realize Luke was gay? Luke was gay.
No,
the book of Luke is super gay.
All I'm saying is, okay, here's the other thing. The Bible was meddled with.
I chose King James on purpose.
But this is true that
God chose King James. Who said that?
King James meddled with the Bible. First of all, he took out God's name because he wanted to replace it with Lord, because that's what he was addressed as by his people. And so he put Lord in the Bible because he wanted people to respect him as his position in their society. The Bible has been meddled with, you know what I mean? Also, they used to stone virgins. Like, that's what the argument I get in with my mom. I'm like, Mom, they used to stone virgins. Like, we're not doing that anymore. So why are we sticking to this, like,
I think we should.
Speaking of, I've been meaning to bring this up for a while.
No, thank you.
But seriously, like, there's a bunch of old rules. So I don't understand why people are hanging on to the gay shit and they're hanging on to the, look, I'm not kidding. The Bible helped keep black people enslaved. It was one of the first documents they gave to black people when they got here. And if they learned to read a little bit, they were like, here, read this here Bible and look at this scripture about your darker skin being worse.
But also to control people. Hey, you want to know the answers? Cool. Everybody does. This book has the answers.
Well, and you know what?
Talked about
Marvel does that for me. I get it. Everybody needs a Bible. I look at Marvel that way. It was my Bible. Like,
I have the Bible, but now I also have Marvel. I love Marvel. But we were talking about this recently, me and my boys. I was like, the evolution of religion. Like, as a people continue to evolve, your religion should evolve with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? You should spiritually evolve. Like I
spirituality.
Yeah, and that's and that's something I definitely took up when I came out here. I moved out here when I was 19. So before that, you can't live in my parents' house and not go to church.
I couldn't live in my parents' house and not.
You're gonna wake your ass up and go to church.
That's a part of it.
And that's why we're ready for Avengers Endgame, because it's 3 hours and 2 minutes and we're fine with this. Because we
First of all,
or you can go with me Friday.
Quinta might go.
Wait, time out. Is your boyfriend back?
Yeah, he's back.
Let's double date it.
How
Friday.
do you know my boyfriend was good?
You told me.
Oh my God. I did.
I listened to you as a friend.
I'm about to cry. I'm drunk a little bit. I am drunk. And I do love this. This has been a wonderful podcast experience.
Thanks.
I feel like as a podcast that gets high, I'm so happy we have an episode where we talk about God, like religion. Like,
no,
I feel
Chris
like,
is way
I
more
feel like
aggressive.
that's such a stony
I
conversation
can talk with you about
to have.
God. Chris
You know what?
gets aggressive with me about God. And I'm like, hey, man, your atheist side is coming on too strong.
I don't
me
mean
and
it
Quinta
like
can
that.
have
I'm glad we're
combos, and
talking
like,
about this.
We're like, we get this. We're talking about this. We maybe not see eye to eye on this, but we're fine.
We're fine.
Chris is like,
I'm saying the
Sterling
same.
Jesus is fake. And I'm like, chill out, dude. Just chill out.
No,
man.
no.
Jesus is fake.
I think.
Oh, you believe in Santa Claus too, bitch?
No, I think
That's what
Quinta
Chris
said
is.
it well. Well, no, the spirit. I think he is a. I think you label it right. He is a spiritual guy, and you have that about you. Not every Christian has that about them or values that first.
And I felt that way about you since I did. Honestly, now that you reminded me about the sliding in the DMs, you've always. I like because I do like the way you are. You operate very by the spirit. That's really important. I think I think it's a beautiful thing that I wish was taught a little bit more. Side note, aren't you Jewish? You were
No. Just kind of look like it.
He's not Jewish.
No.
But I feel
I'm
like
not
the Jews
Jewish.
have a get out of jail free card. Like y'all document it everywhere. I don't know why would you be an atheist? The Jews, like, you guys have turned the fuck up.
Jews would be chill. I mean, I like every religion. If I had a kid, I would be super into taking my kid to different types of religion, exposing them to a lot of different religious services.
I think that's what.
Because I think that there's something in common with everybody. I think there's something in common with everybody, and and I also think that all these books are just meant to control people, and they kept people at war historically for all of history.
Look, let me tell you something.
We were talking about this earlier when we were talking about this attack in Sri Lanka.
This is the most white privilege shit ever. I'm gonna tell you why.
It might be.
I'm gonna tell you why. Chris is like, I don't have to choose a religion, nigga. We had nothing but religion.
Oh, I was raised Catholic, and I don't buy it. Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Yeah, he never speaks about it.
What? I went to church every Sunday as well.
But I saw a picture of you.
And then I didn't have to anymore. I had a communion.
Wow.
I went to confirmation class, and I was 15, and you have to go every week, and I didn't want to go, and I also was doing I was doing shows and doing all this other stuff, so I was I didn't come a lot, and then every time I go,
take that sound bite right there.
I didn't
come
go a lot. And I went to church, but I didn't come a lot.
I was making a relation in my head.
You went to the wrong church.
Wait for real. But how you're saying about. Let me let you finish.
I'm gonna be honest. I would go every once in a while, and I would stir up shit.
Oh, you were that guy.
You're
still that guy.
I was just hey, what's up with this? I was hey, what's up with this not being gay? You're going to hell.
So that was me when I was younger.
Okay.
We have that in common. This is why you and I.
That makes sense.
But because I had that, because I was raised Jehovah's Witness, and one day I just got fed up. Lil Quinta, Jurassic Park fan. And I was like, where are the dinosaurs in the Bible? So I go and I ask the people at the Kingdom Hall. And I was like, excuse me, where are the dinosaurs in the Bible?
You ain't reading hard enough.
And they were like,
they're
like, but I'm not playing. That's what they said. They were like, Genesis describes large creatures, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, word. But so if we know that, why are we debating science? And this is me about 11. I'm like, why are we debating on science when science helped make that discovery for us connected to the Bible?
Yeah.
What I mean?
I don't like your tone, fam. You're going to have to get up.
That was it. Why are you? And they're like, you really need to calm down. And so I start coming back later with more and more questions,
Don't question nobody.
I went to an art school. All my friends were gay. I was like, why we got to have this shit with gay people?
Yeah.
People be gay is not new. It was me since I was 13.
For sure. I feel like I totally understand people be gay. And so I brought that up in
Is that not a company?
It's a meme.
It should be a company if it's not a company. People be gay.
Inc.
I went and I said that in front of my to my Catholic teacher, and her being a Californian was well, yeah, but we get to kind of I interpret it like this.
Yeah.
And then one girl in the class was like, I don't interpret it like that, and the church does not interpret it like that.
It's crazy.
And then it started a fucking fight. And I felt like every time I went, I started a fight. So I was just like, hey, I think I shouldn't go anymore. Yeah, I was trying to be like, I was trying to wake up sheeple them a little bit.
Now, I've always, he's a little crazy sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's loving
most of the time.
He's loving.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want the dogs to come around me. I'm listening.
No. This is
I
Wrigley is a
She's
best.
adorable. The other one's adorable.
Yeah,
But no, I've
Nucky's
known,
lost.
I've known, I've been in the church since, like I said, since I've been born, and somehow, some way, I always still knew people be gay.
Yes.
I was like, people be gay, and that had nothing to do. When I was a kid,
Yeah.
I remember being, like, people don't understand this shit in the black community. You're somewhat raised to be homophobic.
So let's talk about this.
Oh, we not even
Do
go
we
ahead
have
and
any
we were
time?
supposed to
How
go.
how long
We
is
so
the-
deep.
I'm not jumping to that. We may not get into our other topic, but I think this is just as interesting.
If you would like to finish your thought, I'd love for you to finish, but I wanted to,
No,
I
like
wanted
when
to
I
talk
was
about this a little bit.
When I was a young man, when I was a young black dude living in Chicago on the west side,
Oh, little baby Sterling.
number one, everything you do that we don't understand,
Yeah.
we refer to
Yes.
as gay.
Yes.
Everything
yes.
we don't even understand. We like if we
Yes.
simply don't like nigga. I
Yes.
remember being a nigga that cared about fashion, right?
Yes.
Living in the hood, and I'd be like, I'm gonna
Oh
fuck
my
niggas
God.
up
Yeah.
with this fuchsia sweater. They ain't never seen one of these before.
Not
And-
fuchsia.
fuchsia.
The word fuchsia is just gay.
Already
in the hood.
it's already gay as it is.
No. The word fuchsia is gay.
Gay, I
everywhere.
know.
Yeah,
It
it's
got
a
an
gay
H in
word.
it. That shit gay. That word got an H and a C next to each other.
And
That shit
now
gay.
I remember like caring
Wait,
about
my
clothes
name-
and having like fitted jeans and having like I've been on that.
Yeah.
And walking I went to this school that was like a really prestigious high school in
Yeah.
Chicago, really nice school.
Yeah.
And it was very diverse.
Yeah.
And I would come back home to the hood.
Yeah.
All black people were cool.
Yeah.
And as soon as I come back home, it's like, damn, nigga, you can dress gay as fuck, fam. Hey, get out here, nigga. Look at this nigga. Hey, just goof ass. Boy, you look gay as a
I was just about
motherfucker.
to say goofy.
Hey, you look goof ass motherfucker with blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And they would dive into like all day about this nigga look gay because I don't
Yeah.
understand this. I don't
Yeah, yeah.
understand this. I don't understand this. And there was a real gay dude that lived right next door to us too. And neighborhood referred to him as weird all the time. Like
Yeah.
that boy weird.
Mhm.
But it's like when you're around all these different things, you soak it in, and then you think like, oh well, if your parents are tight, that's gay, or this is it. And you look at all of it as being like
Did you say
it's derogatory
your
term.
pants?
Like it's
Yeah.
gay. Like it's not like nobody's like
And,
man,
and
boy,
it associates
you look
gay with wrong.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
what I'm
like
saying. Yeah, like so
Yes, it's
everything
so many-
that is gay is wrong. So you grow up and you think like, man, like my whole thing in general now as an adult is like the same way I won't force something on you, you can't force something on me. That's it. That's the only thing I ask
Yeah.
as far as the line.
Yeah.
But I remember when I first moved out, I was 19, and I moved to LA, and I remember Mike was working with some PR dude, and he had a boyfriend. They wouldn't refer to each other as boyfriend, whatever. But the boy, I think they weren't exclusive or nothing. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know their business.
Yeah.
But the boyfriend, I felt like, because I was so homophobic at the time, or just not even that it wasn't I didn't like gay people. I was afraid. I was so stupid
yeah.
that I literally thought gay was disease.
Yeah.
I thought that
You get taught so
gay
much
people
bad
couldn't
shit.
control it, and that if a gay dude was around you, he didn't get to pick and choose who he was attracted to. He
Yeah.
was gay, so he liked every man. I was that dumb. Because that's
Well,
something.
you get taught to be that dumb.
Yeah. So I'm like,
that's also a phobia, right?
Yes, it's a phobia.
literally
It's
a
being
phobia.
afraid.
A phobia is being
It's-
taught to be dumb.
Yeah,
That's what phobias are.
so I'm around this, and the
and
dude,
afraid.
the dude
Yes.
said something very simple to me.
Yep.
Very simple. He said, I asked him about this building. I was about to have this internship with the record label. I was like, how much does it cost to stay in this building? This is in New York. New York is expensive. And the dude was like, I ain't gonna say the person's name, but as my blank friend once said, it may not cost a lot, it may not cost little, but it's gonna cost you. Which I took as a Chicago West Side nigga. When I say I'm still in my rawest and rarest form of niggatry, that I had just moved out here on bullshit.
Yes.
Like I'm on the bullshit.
Yeah,
like you
yeah,
say
yeah.
anything crazy to me, fam, it can go down
Right,
anytime.
any type of way.
Yeah,
I have two friends from Philly who had to grow out of this.
You have
The
to.
same-
You have
the
to
same
eventually. You hope
shit.
that person grows up.
Yeah.
And he said to me, and I said, fam, I don't know what you're trying to say, but I'll slap the fuck out of you right now. I will knock you the fuck out, nigga. You said, and he
He's
was like
$1,500 a month. Jesus Christ!
he was like,
But without utilities, but if you want internet, it's $40 a
it's
month.
gonna
Jesus.
cost you.
It's gonna cost you, man.
No, but he was just like, I'm not coming at you like that. To this day, I think he was. I think he was coming at me like that. But also, I just didn't handle it right. I just was so ignorant to what that side of the world was even about.
Yeah.
Because I was told it was so wrong that I never wanted to know.
On that, I mean, because, you know, I'm from Philly, and I understand there's half of me that is locked away in a closet somewhere or a chest that is very Philadelphian, and I don't bring it out.
The tethered version?
In a sense. Though, really, though. There's this version of me that's very Philadelphian that's locked away.
Yeah.
And I watch other Philadelphians not lock it away, i.e. Kevin Hart, i.e. Meek Mill. Every time I think about that Meek Mill shit with Drake, I'm like, that's the most North Philly nigga ass shit. Down the bottom ass shit I've ever seen. Meek is from down the bottom, and that whole thing was very down the bottom ass. Yeah. Philly ass behavior, to the point where I was proud of him for being so Philly. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, that's what we can't bring out into that training that we got, training you got in Chicago. It works for surviving Chicago, and but it doesn't work for surviving like the rest of the world, and it doesn't work for me bringing that out. Kevin Hart, I watch him get into these things with his old tweets, and I watch him apologize and stuff. The thing that Kevin Hart is not saying, and Kevin, if you see this, you know I love you. We follow each other on Instagram. I thought about messaging this to him. Just say the truth, which is that you get taught to be homophobic in Philly. You get taught through the church. You get taught through your surroundings. The same thing you're talking about Chicago is the same thing in Philly, but you come from a highly condensed black area where you're being taught these things as a means of survival, as a means of what the church teaches you. You're operating by your faith, like trying to be faithful to God. So it teaches you that anything that's a little bit off the scale is wrong. And, you know, you have to unlearn those things. It took me a long time to even learn that I was homophobic, to unlearn the homophobia.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Because you don't know. You're just a kid. Homophobia is being ingrained in you from the moment you're able to speak and learn, you know? And then you get grown, you go to college, you go be around people, and you teach yourself that I have to realize that I'm homophobic.
Do you think the world evolved as well, though, like to make you realize that?
100%, because I don't think that if this was 20 years ago, we would never have to unlearn it.
We wouldn't have even.
There are old heads who are in.
And there are people that don't want to admit that they even have had that ingrained in them.
Because they don't even know.
They don't know.
It takes time to
even
be aware.
It's the same person that wants to go like, but Columbus did
but
a
we're
lot.
also
It's like, no. This is what I learned, and I'm happy with what I learned.
It is the same
and I
thing.
don't want you to come into contact
It is the same
with what
thing.
I've
But
learned.
we're lucky because we're young enough
And
that we can unlearn it. And
we are fortunate.
Yeah, we're fortunate because we can unlearn it in a quick enough time that we're like, okay, I'm still young. I'm still learning.
So
it's just fine for me to unlearn this. When you're 60, 70, when I have real combos with my mom, I have to word them certain ways.
We're getting deep.
No, it's my mama. No,
but we're getting deep because that's my mom too.
Yeah. I have to word them certain ways to be like, Ma, I'm not even saying you're wrong. I'm saying, is there another way of thinking about it?
There are differences.
There are different. Yeah, and I love, and what makes me so happy is that she's still learning.
Yeah.
And I love having convos with her when she accepts things that I thought she would never accept.
And you realize that you're fortunate enough to have these, because I feel that way about my mom. I realize I'm fortunate enough to have this conversation with my mom to be able to learn from each other, because, you know, my mom, she's a teacher, and
my mom was a teacher too.
Really?
Yeah.
And she retired last year, and like she was like, it was like she was starting to get kids that were like identified as they them.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not learning that shit. Norma Brunson is 63. She was just like, I'm retiring for sure now. Like, she was just like, I'm not learning that shit. Like, I'm 63. Bitch, I was hosed. The other thing about the old generation is, like, they went through some shit, you know, some direct shit.
They went through some shit.
So they look at our shit as very, like, trivial. They're like,
we talk about this all the time. I tell him that it's not, okay, I use the word jealousy or envy, but it's because whatever cause you're fighting for, you're not fighting for it for yourself.
Yeah.
You're fighting for it for the next generation.
Yeah.
But you wish that you could reap the benefits of that cause you fought for. So when you see your kids reaping the benefits, you're like, shut the fuck up. Like, so it's like, I joke and say, like, when slaves finally, they abolished slavery, and those people became grandfathers, and then their kids were like, civil rights movement, and we want to eat in the same place.
Bitch.
They were like, shut the fuck fuck up. Nigga, I picked
You ain't
cotton.
even never been whipped.
Yeah. If you don't shut your ass up.
For real, though.
Real shit. So we will have something to complain about to our kids when we grow up. We'll be like, shut the fuck up. I remember
we will, though.
Robots.
And I hope that we do.
Robots.
I hope that we do. I hope my
do.
kids can experience
I hope that I'm
shit.
like student loans. Butcher me, like I'm like
no, because you feel a pride once you've gone through them. You're like, well,
it's the
I
pride of
did
getting
that.
through it.
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah, it's the pride of getting through it. But my mom is learning too. That's a huge thing about because of.
I love what you said about Kevin Hart and that people are learning and like that should be part of everyone's story.
It should, but
no, I mean I think we all have been in interracial relationships. This sucks. I wish someone was like aggressively yelling at us like black women only. But no, I think it's. I don't know. We talked about this a little bit earlier. It's just interesting that like I'll speak about myself. I'm
so
dating
scared.
my first white girlfriend.
Hold the puppy again. It's gonna work.
I know.
It helps everything. Not that one. That one just freaks you out more. That one's like, oh god.
Because now you can literally say the most demeaning thing and you're holding Wrigley.
Or you look
can do
evil
whatever
as
the fuck.
shit holding Wrigley.
No, when you're
Can
holding
you not
Wrigley,
get her up? What is going on over there?
I feel weird holding this kind of a dog. It's
Oh,
hard to pick them up.
No, she's chilling.
What are they?
French bulldog?
Yes, I feel weird picking up because they look like you're hurting them.
No,
Okay, go ahead.
Wrigley's fine. But yeah, I'm in a relationship right now with my first white girl ever, and
That sounds bad.
it does sound bad.
The way you said
It does sound bad, but it's the way I'm gonna address the audience right now. But no, I'm in my first interracial relationship, and it's going amazing.
Yeah.
It's going amazing, and it's just interesting to me that in 2019 we still have conversations about who we love, and it's crazy to me, but also as a black man that is somewhat successful, that has my own independent, yes, bitch. I feel like I get a lot of shit for dating someone outside my race, right? And it's the first girl I've ever dated outside my race, right? And when I grew up in Chicago, I will say I probably fucking when 0 until now, I never saw myself being with a white girl. Period. Point blank, period.
Yeah.
I also matured to a level where I stopped visualizing myself with someone and just with love and with the energy. It went with someone like spiritually. And I was like, yo, I want to feel a certain connection with somebody. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
So to give
Yes.
context real quick, you're in a relationship with a white woman.
Yo, sellout ass motherfucker. You black man, powerful black man, chose to sell out.
Yes.
What if that was
Christians with
my
all the
angle?
It was your delivery.
You
though. I don't know.
coon ass.
The way
Chris,
you
can't say that shit.
I don't know the way you summed it up.
I just realized that we're talking as friends, but like an audience who is listening would be like, okay, the context is that both of you guys are in interrelationships with white people, but it's a white man and a white woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know how else we'd both be in relationships with white people.
Well, I could be with a white woman. I could be.
You could be. Fuck you for getting me on that.
Got you.
My Chicago-ness.
You see,
it peaked out.
canceled it out.
It peaked out. Hey, nigga. What else was you
Doesn't it always come out?
A woman. But
It's not right that Chris is the most progressive.
yeah,
of
Chris
all of
is.
us.
Got you.
He has had the most opportunity to be progressive.
Exactly.
Fucking white
Pretty
privilege.
Yeah, white
easy.
privilege,
California.
Yeah,
It's
you
kind of
are.
just
You
happened.
really are the. But okay, what's hard, if I'm being real, is like, look, I'm in a relationship with a white man, and I don't even care about what
You don't even like referring to him as a white man.
because I don't know, like, yes, I know he is that, but that's also my baby, and I love him, and he's
Girl,
just
you
my
better
baby.
talk your
like,
shit.
That's just my baby. I love him. I don't
Yeah.
know. So when you love someone, it's hard for you to do that, to put any label on them. It's like, no, that's my person I love, but
Because you
here's
feel like you have people in the community that are like, do not date people who aren't of your own race.
especially white.
Especially white people.
Especially white.
Yeah, especially white.
Why would we want to date white people?
I gotta be honest, I didn't really know that this was such a thing until
thing.
Sterling told me.
That's
like,
crazy that
I
you
didn't
don't
really
even
know
it's
that
such a
like
thing.
black people were like, you're not allowed to date people who aren't black people. I mean, I guess I've heard that
I'll-
before,
I'll-
but I didn't know it was so real until it happened to
Ooh,
Sterling.
I'm about to get in
Especially
trouble.
white people, because there are two different reasons, right? For black men with white women and white men and black women, there are two different, very legit reasons, you know, like logical reasons why people think it's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, what are those reasons?
So for me, which is what I was about to get into with what I felt when you were saying that just now, I know your girl, I know you, but it still stung me because the history that's been taught to me and the history that is true makes me feel like, well, I'm afraid for you, my black male friend, to be with someone who doesn't know what it means to date a black man, who doesn't know what your existence is in this country. And so even when you were talking just now, despite who I am and who I'm dating and everything, I'm like, I want you to be with someone who knows what it means to fully love 24/7 around the clock a black man, to know what danger you're in, to know what position you're in. You know what I mean? That's what I mean.
No,
and that's what
it
gets. It makes me like emotional. I'm like, I just want to make sure that you're protected. I want to make sure you're okay. And for us, it's like, you know, historically, white slave masters raped black women, took them away from the black man, you know, took them away from they you know, ripped black men away from the family to help make sure that the family never happened, and raped black women. And it's terrible. You know, we have this terrible history it sucks. You know, being black in period is hard. And then being black in modern America, especially when we start getting some fucking money, it's hard. You know, like it's not easy. No part of being black is easy.
It's a privilege.
Because of our history. It is a beautiful struggle.
No, it's such a privilege. I like, as
You
someone
know?
that's spiritual, again,
Yes.
I don't believe God would put being black on nobody that wasn't strong enough to be black. So
very
like
spiritual.
So, but yeah, it is though.
I dabble in atheism,
But
so you know.
I dabble in
What up?
atheism.
I do.
But no, what up?
I do.
He came out, he popped out real quick. Hey.
I was about to say, I feel.
No God.
I feel like that bisexual girl that's not really bisexual is like, I don't know, I dabble in women. It's like, that's how I feel about atheism. Where I'm like,
I guess I'm bi-atheist as well.
But like I understand the struggle of being black. I also understand that I'm strong enough, and as a black man, like I take everything as a challenge, and I'm so competitive, so it fucks with me. So like, as somebody that like was probably brought up, I went to a school called NIA. NIA is the fifth principle of Kwanzaa.
I went to a school called Bahali, which means family,
Oh,
in Swahili,
what's
first and fifth grade.
I learned Swahili growing up.
I learned Swahili too.
That's what we learned in my school. So
that was me, first and fifth grade.
So
Nice.
NIA means purpose, if y'all listen. But but no, so I of course understand not being with a white woman. Right? I understand it. I get it. I get what's been taught upon me. I understand it. But I also am at a place in my life where I'm like, I'm not about to judge somebody based on the color of their skin.
And you also believe in love.
I believe in love. I believe in love. And if I'll be real with you, me and my girl joke about this all the time. If we don't work out, I'll probably go back to a black girl. Because it's a lot. It is a lot. The education is a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot. That's the one thing. That's the one thing that me and my girl do. We go through it sometimes because she's not only a white woman, she's from the UK.
But here's what I would say is okay, so for me being a woman, communication to my boyfriend is about so many different things. It's communication about what I need as a woman. It's communication about what I need as a black person. It's communication about what I need as a black woman. It's communication about what I need as a Marvel fan, because he's not a Marvel fan.
What? How y'all together, fam? No, I'm joking.
I do love
Wow, that's
him.
so brave of you.
I know. Thank you, right? Because you would have thought that at the beginning.
He's not even a fucking Marvel fan.
I know,
I'm
and
really
dating
surprised
Marvel fans is hard.
Why did you?
I'm just joking.
Well, can I, real quick, I would like to hear Chris was in an interesting situation. I don't know if you want to talk about this on the podcast.
No, talk about that shit,
I don't
Quinta.
know.
But, like, what was it like for you? Because you dated someone who was Hispanic and very
Yes.
proud and
Yeah.
friend of mine who I love, so don't be saying no fuck shit.
No,
But what was it?
Say what you want, Chris. Speak from your heart.
Did you feel some type of interesting vibe from being a white
supremacist? Chris, how did it make you?
Shut up! No, not white supremacist. White supremacist.
Oh, that's your new nickname.
No,
AKA white supremacist.
No, that's not nice.
I'm joking.
Don't do that to him.
We this podcast, everybody knows we joke.
Chris
is not a racist.
No, don't confuse it.
Don't
confuse it. I think it's very, very, very funny, but I don't want people to call him that.
No one will call him that. They know he's the greatest.
Well, I feel like it was different. Well, sure, there's a ton of differences. Are you joking me? I mean, there's a cultural difference, there's experiential differences, but also I think she grew up as somebody in a society in Seattle where there's not a lot of Mexican people. I actually grew up in a really Mexican area.
Seattle's weird.
Well, I'm more thinking about Seattle being a white place. So she's not. So she's a unique circumstance. It's not like she comes from an all-black community like you guys.
Is Seattle a white place?
But her parents are
yes, I get that.
Like came here to find a better life for Mexico. You know, so they are. Like, and she definitely has a community that is about that shit.
They didn't even stop. Like, they was like, fuck this. We can go past
Do you
California,
still
Nevada.
love her?
What?
Do you still love her?
That's Please, let's keep it in. Quinta, you
don't do that.
Quinta, come whenever you want to.
That's why I told you not to. Don't put me on the podcast. I don't know why I told you.
I just
Quinta, I love you so much. I love you
on the podcast
so much.
Because I love my friend and I want you to be. I love you.
I mean,
yes.
Do,
Pour it on more.
In the healthiest way I can. In the healthiest way I can. I like, you know what I'm saying?
You do, Chris. I love you so much.
Wait, not in like
happy.
not in like I'm still in love with her way.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, whatever you say.
I said
but in like I
love.
wish her the best way.
Oh, Chris.
Right? Like I'm not mad. Like it doesn't anger me to talk about my relationship if that's what you're asking me.
No, I just said.
No, we
man.
no.
Glasses.
But like,
cause he was so in love, y'all. He was so in love. I remember.
Oh shit! I love Quinta so
I
much.
do. I remember, and I was so happy for my friend.
No,
you were so cute.
But I think I think he's happy now.
I didn't say he wasn't happy.
Okay. I was just trying to clean up on him real quick.
Did I say anything bad?
No, he's still
you were
Quinta.
like, do you still love her? And I was like, I'm not struggling with that in any way.
Oh shit!
I mean, like, but of course, I wish her the best. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Baby Chris.
That makes sense.
But like, for people who don't know our relationship outside, like, if we're on camera, you're like, do you still love her? They'll be like, what's up with Chris at dinner?
That's
like,
bad.
is Chris at dinner?
That
like,
is bad. That's bad.
I just did. Chris at dinner is totally good.
I'm sorry.
But
that's
but I had a great relationship with that person, and I love that person.
Little baby Chris.
Did you have any struggles
no.
Did you have any struggles that you went through? Like, I don't know if a white guy struggles with interracial relationship. Like, I don't know. I'm being for real. Like, I don't know if white men experience the struggle.
No, this is a good question. It was just the way you delivered it first.
I'm gonna be honest. I think it's more about.
I love you so much.
It's true. The delivery killed me, but it's true.
I think it's more about understanding the struggle, right, than it is about explaining your struggle.
Yeah, it is. It's being willing to listen.
I mean, everybody has a human struggle.
That's the only thing you got as a black man that is right now, and I will be. It's like I'm breaking up with her next week. But no, as a black man that's with my girlfriend, with my white girlfriend.
We've had too much wine this episode.
No, we're fine. I forgot
what I was talking about.
It's about being willing and listening and understanding that you don't know everything about what I'm going through and allowing me to educate you. That's the only thing we ask. If you're with someone that is like, but really, or like they just don't want to, it's not about if you can truly feel it. It's about that you want to understand what I'm going through.
Well, yes, 100%. But we talked about this earlier today, before we started shooting the podcast. I'm a little drunk.
No, you're not.
I am, but
yeah, you are.
I do feel as though that
it's the name of the show.
Yeah, it is. I feel.
And you didn't smoke weed.
No,
with
you
us,
are
so.
safe. You know
I'm
that.
just drunk.
And we'll edit out whatever the fuck we want.
But the thing is that
Yeah.
you.
What's the thing, Quinta?
Oh my God! Hold on. Let me think about it.
Yeah.
The thing is that we talked about earlier about being pro-black and being black.
Yeah.
And dating someone who is outside of your race, especially a white person, if we're being real. And the thing is, like, the thing we have to deal with is, like, young black people, and especially young black people who live in LA, is, like, this fucking overbearing historical burden, right? I'm not mad at the burden. It is what it is. Here, we are who we are, and I'm not mad at anyone who questions us about it, because you have the right to question. But the thing is, like, we have to deal with this thing of, like, can you care about black people if your partner is not black?
Yeah. And what do you think?
I told you earlier that I feel
so
like
the question is, if you are dating somebody who isn't black, the
Can you be
community
pro-black?
considers you not pro-black.
Can you be
yeah,
pro-black?
so the thing is, I understand that, you know, from a public perspective and, you know, societally speaking, that people might not consider me pro-black because my partner is white. But I know in my heart that I care about the progression of young black women, which is the progression of me, and the progression of young black men. And I care about my black male friends more than I've ever been able to care about them in my life, because I truly look at them as brothers to me, and that I want them to be everything. So I'm sure you know, I don't get to tweet I'm pro-black. You know, that's the privilege that has been taken away from me. But I know that every move I make in my day is about making sure that I'm out here and I'm good. And therefore, me being out here and good is good for black women being out here and being good. And that's what I feel. And I feel the same way about you, whereas you occupy a space that is important for any young kid that happens to Wikipedia Sterling Brim and says, what? From Chicago? What? From my neighborhood? What? I'm out here. I could do this shit. Pro-black.
And I feel as though I'm pro-black. And I know I'm pro-black. And we want to really dive deep. We can go deep real quick. Not like that, but just more that, like, I was already pro-black. I was raised pro-black.
Yeah, same.
So I almost feel like, oh, shit, we going there.
But are you willing to accept that maybe the culture doesn't see you as that, and that's it? That's fine.
I'm probably not, actually.
I'm willing to
I think
accept
my
it.
girlfriend fighting somebody upstairs. I don't know. We heard.
The thing is, you have to be willing to be not accepted in order to really do this shit.
No.
You have to be willing to
I'm willing to not be accepted on a surfacey level, but I think in my ultimate legacy that I want to leave in life, I want it to be known that I'm pro-black. I do. I know. I might have to eventually update my thoughts and download the new software and say, you know what? Fuck it. I gotta. You know, I know I'm doing this right, and sometimes right may outweigh black.
Always.
And people sometimes
right may outweigh any.
But
any
but I think people don't really view it like that all the time. But I know that as somebody that does consider myself pro-black, I probably, now that I have a white girlfriend, probably go twice as hard. I probably go twice as hard for mine, because I'm like, yo, I'm still afraid of being viewed as like a dude that's like, oh, this nigga whitewashed. Oh, he did this.
Yeah.
Or he a sellout. Or he a coon. Or any of these things.
Which I think sucks for black creatives.
It does.
It's such a like an unfortunate burden that we have to bear. You know, like it sucks for us. I understand that it is what it is, but it's like, you know, because I got a lot of that. Even being a part of BuzzFeed, like it was like, oh well, she's not black enough. I'm blacker than half you people commenting on me, okay?
Yeah.
Half y'all not from the fucking hood.
And what the fuck does that even really mean?
What does that even mean? And I don't even want to have that reaction.
And what does that even mean?
Well, nigga, I'm from the west side of Chicago.
Yeah,
like I am.
I don't want to have that conversation.
Yeah.
When I
don't want that to be put on us.
You know what's crazy is that, like, with me doing ridiculousness for like we're 14 seasons in,
crazy,
and we're like 9 years in now,
Can
right?
we clap my friend up?
Thanks, man. You know,
Can we
I
clap my
myself.
friend up?
But like we're 14 seasons in, like 14 seasons in like 9 years, and so much of our fan base is the Midwest. It's like this person, it's that person. It's people that sometimes I tweet something about. Yeah, Barack did this right. People be like,
you do get it.
People
I've seen it.
People will write me and be like, I
I've
thought
seen
you were
it.
different.
I've seen it.
Why
That's
are you
crazy.
even? And I'm like, what the
Very
fuck?
American audience.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
what
so
did I
crazy.
do that you thought I was different?
I've gotten the same thing, and they don't know what version of blackness we have to deal with on that scale.
And you even deal with black people who don't understand the game.
The game.
And playing the game.
Let's talk about this shit.
Like you deal with black people who don't understand the game, and the game you have to play sometimes to get your foot or yourself in the door, that you can open up other doors. Y'all ain't got to play the game no more.
Okay,
that's what I'm trying to do.
We in the fucking
I'm
game.
playing the fucking game, so you ain't got to play it no more.
Okay.
So we can even the shit out. So I'm here trying to do things that maybe you think, oh, why you changing your voice, fam? Why you sound more articulate? But why you doing
to you?
Why you doing this thing or this thing and this thing? You like, yo, fam, I'm not.
I'm in the game.
I'm me. Understand that. This is crazy. Now. I'm not even happy saying this, but I meet so many black dudes who be like, nigga, I didn't know you was a real nigga.
I know.
And I be like, nigga,
too.
you don't know me.
Me too.
Understand
me
that.
Too.
You don't know me, fam.
You have no idea.
I gotta play the game though to make sure that other West Side Chicago little boys can make it to where I made it and further.
Make sure that
and I'm not
other
even
West Side little Philadelphian girls
all day,
okay?
All day.
And you have no idea about where I come from. Also, half the people who be saying this shit. Bitch,
man,
you come from a middle class ass family.
Fam.
I'm from nothing, bitch.
Fam.
I'm from nothing.
When you
don't
click
even know
a nigga
nothing
profile and you go, you dive.
You went to
deep.
NYC, nigga.
What?
Shut the fuck
If
up.
you don't stop talking to me, fam, don't talk to
you
me,
don't
nigga.
know about the shit that you don't know.
So
the first time I saw Wizard of Oz was in jail, visiting my brother.
Nigga.
Y'all got to see that in the comfort of y'all homes. I saw it in jail, visiting my brother.
Did you see the Wiz before that?
Yeah, of course. But the first time I ever saw Wizard of Oz was in jail, playing with the little toys that they provide at the
Wizard
jail
of Oz
center.
is dope.
You was there.
So an important question that we need to ask, Chris: do you consider yourself pro-white?
No, I
didn't see it coming. I almost spit it all out.
You did.
Don't race Chris to me. Don't.
It's such a different thing for you. You can't be. We can be pro-black, but you can't be
pro-black,
pro-white.
You can't because white's not a culture.
Because the shit y'all have done.
Well, white's not a culture. White's I
now,
can
y'all
be
got a culture. It's just not what you want to talk about.
That's how I feel. But
you have a
Chris,
culture?
why did you denounce your fucking? You are
white isn't. Well, I mean, my family's Eastern European, and they have traditions like that. But it's really the grandmas and grandpas who are the super. They're within the culture, and then my family's become Americanized. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's I guess I am kind of, as a white dude, we've talked about this, being oh, I don't have any of that. So you actually don't get any of that. That's actually why I think people become that thing, because they're looking for something, and they're guys. They're white people, and I don't care that much. But it is, you know what I mean? But
you don't. The long time ago, I tried to get Chris to date a black girl, but he didn't rise to the occasion.
What black
Chris
girl?
could do that?
Yeah.
I've dated
You
a
think
black
he got
girl
that
before.
swag?
I tried to get you to actually seriously date.
Who should have I seriously? Who's?
I remember I told you one time.
Is she still available?
No, I didn't. I wasn't thinking about anyone in particular. I was just that he, I think, would be able to, that he could rise to the occasion.
Chris, you got to be a strong white dude to date a black woman. Let me tell you that. Because you know why I know that? Because you got to be a strong black dude to date a black woman. I'm joking.
You're not joking.
This is why I'm in trouble.
You're not joking. That's true. You have to be a strong any dude to date a black woman. We know what we are.
Because black women are the strongest. So if you go really dive in, no, I'm being dead ass though. Number one, I love that.
I want to see the girl you were talking about.
Me and you talked about this.
Yeah.
What we hate and what's crazy is that if you date, I'm dating my first white girl, and everything that I've ever done in life is washed away. It's my tweets. Black women become my tweets. They get washed away, and I'm yo, I've dated only black women. I love black women. I have nothing but fucking respect for black women. I love black women. Anything I can do to help and advance black women, I do it. Mm-hmm. And for people to be yo, because you dating a white woman, what you saying, fam, is irrelevant. You're that's bullshit.
I think that there are different versions of love that people don't take into account. The way I love my boyfriend is different from the way I love the black men in my life. I love the black men in my life in a different unconditional way than the way that I love my boyfriend, which is also unconditional. Well, these are different things. Like when I even just look at a black man, I'm like, it's a different love because you know why? Because I know that I have to protect the black men in my life from so much more than I have to protect the white men in my life.
And I feel the exact same.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a different thing. But guess what? I love my boyfriend so much. I love him in a different. I don't know. You know when you love you
fall in love.
You fall in love, and I love him in a different way than I love the black men in my life. Guess what? You love your fucking mom, but you don't love her the same way you love your girlfriend.
But it's in our bloodline. It's the way. Even being in this country, we had to love and protect one another.
Yeah.
So it's the same way that the way I look at a black woman, and I'm like, anything I can do to help you, I'm here. Understand that. Yeah. And that's probably why I go so hard to try to prove that. Because
but you shouldn't have to prove it because you do it already.
I know, but I still want black women to know, like, yo, I fucking love you. But don't get that shit twisted, fam. Like,
but
never.
That part is also detrimental because it's like overcompensating, and I think that it's just like so many different factors. I don't know what to say. I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers for
you ain't got the answers, Swipe.
I don't.
I think the answer is love is love, and I don't like all this. I don't like all this
black
negativity.
Talk.
No, I don't like the negativity about it.
AKA.
Oh God, you guys! You can only
Welcome
do
to
so
the Wine
many.
and Weed,
Chris,
aka Black Talk, aka
so that was our
negativity.
opening banter, and now let's get into the stories of the week.
Would you date Rihanna?
Yes, absolutely. Tomorrow, call me
easy.
AKA.
That's an easy date.
AKA Rihanna's boyfriend.
That's easy.
AKA the dude in the Ancestry.com commercial.
Would you date I know you may not, but Chris he's a gold digger and a car booty.
Gold digger, AKA car booty.
Look, like dating Rihanna's not hard. It probably is hard.
Dating Rihanna's easy. These bitches just scared.
What? That was my
bitches just scared.
These
bitches just scared. Would you date? Would you date Beyonce?
AKA Beyonce's boyfriend.
First of all, you couldn't handle Beyonce. You couldn't handle Beyonce.
You guys,
fam.
Beyonce.
First of all, Beyonce is married. Don't speak ill on her
That's
name.
true.
Ever.
We're not speaking ill on the queen's name.
Yeah,
she has a king, but you couldn't even handle her bathwater.
Would you?
I'd try it. We'd give it a shot.
Bend the knee.
That was it for Wine and Weed.
Right.
We had an amazing
Thank
time.
you so much.
Quinta, like no bullshit. Thank you
Quinta,
so much.
that was fantastic. We will cut whatever you don't like.
And we will bring you back whenever.
I
You're
like
too
this
busy.
podcast,
just come
though.
sit down.
Fun.
We're just having a
I told
conversation.
you guys knew. I don't like the podcast at all. I don't like it.
Suck, right?
John. Like, I don't fucking like podcasts, but actually, I like this.
You like what? But actually, I feel like we could use this as a bit.
I like my friends.
No, Wine and Weed.
Wine and Weed.
That's one of the main reasons why I would consider this one of the best podcasts. I'm using my NPR verse. One of the main reasons why I would consider this one of the best podcasts is because Chris and Sterling brought me crab legs before the recording, and we just like to say shout out to the Crab Legs Association of America. Please donate. Up next, we have a wonderful track from Flylo. That's Flying Lotus. And after that, we've got a track from Thundercat. A new one from Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, live at Coachella. And I want to say thank you for listening to NPR. If you donate, you can get a free KCRW tumbler, which you can put your coffee into. Thank you for listening to NPR. DJ Tanka, take it away.
Accidentes.
Thanks for watching Wine and Weed. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Quinta.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, John.